This conference will now be recorded.
So with the help of this count function or the count method, just we can able to count those records. That means how many number of records are available inside my lead object, we can able to count. That's it. Now that count value is what? What type of value it is? Integer. So now here what I'm doing here, collection. In this case, no need to use that collection, just we can able to define integer variable. Integer records count. That's it. Now this records count value we can able to display. That's it. Simple. So now in this case, what happened? This query is of type what? Static or dynamic? Static SOQL. If it says static SOQL. So now static SOQL query is returning what type of value here? Integer. Previously, what type of value static SOQL query has written? String, list collection. Okay. One more. Map. No. SOQL query. Static SOQL query will be returning the result in the form of what? Either a single object, and then it may be collection also. Okay, collection also. And then the third one is what? Integer type. Okay, integer type. So that static SOQL query can return the result in the form of either a S object, nothing but your associated object type. It may be a collection, it may be integer also. These are the three return types are available when coming to that static SOQL query. Okay. So now whenever if you want to get just the count of those records here, okay, if you want to get only the count, then just we can use a method called as count method. With the help of this count method, we can able to get the count of those records, whatever we have. Okay, just you can get the count of those records. That count will be in the form of a numerical, so that we need to define one integer variable. We can display the values. Now, in this case, for example, we can raise a question, sir, if it is a static SOQL, it is returning that value in the form of an integer. Suppose if I want to do the same query through dynamic, how? String variable. If it is a static SOQL, we are using this format. If it is a dynamic SOQL, how can we do that here? In this case, I'm defining a string variable. Okay, string. Now I'm going to be indicating that variable over here, like as leads query equals to, I'm specifying that. Select count from lead. I want to execute it over here. How can we execute? Database start query. Leads query. What it returns? Database start query method. Database start query method will always return in the form of what? List collection. Now tell me, this query is returning anything over here? The query is returning anything? Just it is returning count value. Then what is the use of this collection here? In this case, whenever if you are going to be using this count function to get the count of records, don't use this normal query function. We have a method called as count query method. It's a separate method given by database class view. So now the count query method is going to be always returning the result in the form of an integer records count. Okay, so now whenever we are going to be getting that count of those records, then we have to use that method called as count query method here. Okay, if it is a static SOQL, it returns the result in the form of an integer. If it is a dynamic SOQL, we have to use that count query method, because whenever if I'm using that count method, we are using that count query. Okay, clear now? So now in this case here, whenever if I'm using this account, we are using that simply the count query method, and then we can store the result inside a integer variable, and from there we can able to display that value wherever you want. Okay, now in this case, in what scenarios we can use this kind of count method? In what scenarios I would like to use this kind of count method? What are the scenarios? Can you give me some scenarios? So this is what the scenario where exactly I would like to use this count method in order to get the count of those records. Roller summary, no. No. The same roller summary. Then what we can use here? For example, come to a scenario. Assume that I'm having a login screen. I'm having a login screen. In this login screen, I'm having two text boxes to enter the username and the password. Username and the password. The user has to enter the username and then he has to enter the password. So now they have to enter the username and they have to enter the password. And along with that, they will be having the two buttons, login button and the cancel button. Two buttons are available. Cancel button. Okay. So two buttons are available here, login and the cancel. So now once the username and the password has been getting entered, it has to verify the details inside my database. For example, I'm having the user object is there. So this is my user object. We are having two columns, username and the password. Two columns are there inside my user object. I'm having the username value and the password value. I have some users information is available, like as Ram Kumar, password is India. Pavan Kumar, password is Pavan123. Suresh 1980, like that. I'm having some usernames and passwords are available. Now today the user has entered. Okay, user has entered some username and the password inside my text boxes. The user is trying to be logging in. Now he has entered Ram Kumar. He has entered the password India. Now when I click on login button, what will happen? What it will do? When I click on login button, first of all it has to validate. Okay, first of all it has to validate by connecting to my database. It has to go to the database, that means user object. In that it has to verify with the name Ram Kumar and India how many users are available here. So whether the users are available or not here. If the users are available, then based on that I can decide whether he can able to enter into the application or this user can't log in. So in this case, what happened? We are going to be preparing the query here. Okay, we are preparing the query to validate this information. We are preparing the query. So this is the query I'm writing over here. I'm preparing the query. Okay. Now tell me how can we write this query here? Select ID. Okay. From user. Where username equals to the value Ram Kumar which has entered. And password equals to the value. Then now tell me what is the value it will returns now. Do we have any username? Do we have any user record with this username, with this password? No. Here he has entered that India. Okay, India. Here 2 times he has entered here, but we are having that password India. Now in this case here, what happened? It won't return any record over here. Now in this case, now tell me username, I'm fetching the username, I'm fetching the password also. Already I'm having the username and password, then why I need to fetch these values again? Do we have any use of this one? Already I have entered username and password here itself. Then why I'm fetching these values again from the database? So no need to fetch this information. Just we need to use that count. That means what? With this username, with this password, do we have any user records are available or not? If it is available, then store inside that. For example, I'm storing inside that records count. Okay, I would like to get the count. That means how many number of user records are available with this username Ram Kumar and with this password India. Now in this case, how can we decide the condition over here? Now I would like to specify the condition. Okay, I would like to specify the condition over here. Now in this case, if records count is greater than 0, that means what? For example, with this username, with this password, there is a user record is available. Okay, then what it will return? Suppose, for example, with this username, with this password, one user is available. For example, I'm entering correct username, correct password. What it will return? Now tell me in this case. Select count from user where username equals to Ram Kumar and password equals to simply India. Now tell me what it will return now. 1, because with this username, with this password, one user record is available, so it will be returning value 1. That means what? Username and the password is valid. With this username, with this password, we have a user record. That means he is an authenticated user, so please allow him to enter into the application. Now but the user has entered what? AA. Now tell me what it will return now. 0. 0 means what? With this username, with this password, do we have any user record here? No. That means he is a invalid user. So that's here what I want to do. Based on that number of records written by this particular query, I would like to indicate. Suppose if the count value is greater than 0, then I would like to allow the user. Allow the user into the application. That means if the user record is there, greater than 0 means it may be 1. That means one user is there with this username and password. Else, what we can do? Show the message. Show the error message, invalid username or password. This is the same business logic we are going to be writing inside our login screens, nothing else. Whenever we are going to validating the data, okay, whenever you are validating your users information, upon click on that login button, whatever the username, whatever the password we have entered, with this username, with this password, just we are going to be making a query with this username and password, how many number of records are available or not. If the record is 1, that means greater than 0, that means records are available. Then please allow the user to enter into the application, or else we have to show the message invalid username or password. Okay, this is the business logic we are writing behind that login screen, nothing else. Okay, clear? Now, next one. Let me explain one more scenario. For example, let me explain one more scenario. Assume that I'm having a customer record, customer object is there. So inside my customer object, I'm having few columns. Customer ID, customer name, and the email ID. Here's my customer object. Okay, customer object. I'm having that ID column, name of that customer, and then I would like to specify the email ID. Okay, email ID. So these are the columns are available inside my customer object. So now I'm creating a record inside my customer object by using that user interface. I have a user interface. With this user interface, I'm creating the customer records. Customer name and the email ID. So these are the two text boxes I'm placing over here. To enter the customer name, one more. To enter the email ID, one more. I'm having the two buttons, save button and the cancel button. Cancel button. Two buttons are available. Already, I'm having some customer records inside this. I'm having some customer record. First customer record 00 A 123. Name is some Ram Kumar. Email ID ram@some gmail.com. Second record 00 A 345. His name is some Suresh Kumar. Email ID suresh@sometester.com. Next. Third one 00 A 456. His name is some Kiran. Email ID kiran@some gmail.com. These are the three customer records are available inside my object. Now, today I'm creating one more customer record right now. Okay, I'm inserting one more customer record. Now my customer record name is some Ram Kumar. Okay, I'm creating a customer record with the name Ram Kumar. Email ID ramkumar ramk@some gmail.com. Okay, after entering that email ID and the username, customer name, as soon as once I click on this particular save button, it has to save the record inside my object here. Okay, now it will be saving the record into my object automatically. But when I click on that save button, blindly it will be saving the record into my object. Okay, whatever the save button will be giving by Salesforce, upon click on the save button, blindly it will be saving the record into my object. But I don't want to do that. Before saving this record into my object, first of all, I want to verify. So with this name, with this customer name, already a customer record is available or not. If the customer record is already there, then I don't want to allow this customer record again with the same name. I want to maintain the uniqueness, okay, based on that customer name. Then in this case, how can we implement this one now? How? Okay, now in this case, what needs to be done? First of all, we have to identify, right, with this customer name, how many number of customer records are available inside my object. Okay, now for that one, we are going to be writing that query. We are preparing that query here. Now, integer records count. Select count from customer. Then what we can do? Where name equals to the value. Okay, whatever the value you have supplied. Ram Kumar. How many values are available? I would like to get. Suppose if this record count, okay, record count value greater than 0, then what needs to be done? That means there is a record. What we can do? You want me to allow to insert the record, or we need to cancel this one? Cancel. Nothing but show the message. Show the message like as duplicate records found. Duplicate records found. Else, then what we can do? Insert that record. That's it. Okay, so whenever we are going to be using these kind of implementations, validating that duplications, okay, validating the duplications also, and then verifying that credentials are available, right or not, based on that we can take some decisions. Here in this case, what I'm doing, if the record count value is greater than 0, then I'm going to be allowing the user here. If this count value is greater than 0 here, I'm going to showing the message duplicate records found, because here business logic is completely different. Functionality is different over here. Okay. If the user is exists, then only allow the user to enter into the application. Here, if the record is exist, then don't allow this record over here again, because I want to eliminate the duplicate records. In this case, whenever we are going to be validating this kind of information, always we have to use the help of count method. Count method is very, very helpful to us in order to identify how many number of records are available at the time of duplication also, or at the time of validating that user's credentials also. Count method is very, very useful to us. Okay. Clear? By using that count method, we can able to identify how many number of records are available inside that object. We no need to fetch the records. Records we are not collecting. Just we are collecting the count of those records. Simple. We can collect that count of those records also. That facility is available, okay, as part of your count method. Okay. Clear? No.
So if you want to include any validation, for example, it's a valid email. When do we need to include the email?
Now, so now email condition we need to verify inside the validation tool itself. Before click on that save button itself, I want to validate that whatever the email ID we have entered, is it in the correct format or not. Okay, so that here for that email field, we are going to be creating the field which is of data type email, which will be having the inbuilt validation inside that. Okay. If you want to do that, whatever the information that you have entered, if you want to do any encryptions, then at that time we can use two mechanisms. Like for example, whatever the password that have entered, if you want to display that password in a different format, then at that time we can use that two mechanisms to encrypt the data. One is by using crypto class. Second one is by using base64 encoding utility. Okay, so like you can able to use that formats, for example. So when you go to that classes, we can able to use the crypto class. Okay, cryptography. That means in order to encrypt and decrypt here, you are having the crypto is a standard class which has been given by Salesforce. We are having all the methods are available. We can able to encrypt the data. We can able to decrypt the data also over here. That possibility is available. So now we can able to generate that. Okay, the key also based on that key we can able to encrypt the information, and then we can able to decrypt that information also. That possibility will be available to inside this. That is one way. Second way is we can able to use that class called as encoding util. Encoding util dot base64 encoding format. We can able to encode the data. We can able to decode the data also, both. Okay, both the possibilities are available. Okay. So now here we are going to be encoding that the information, nothing but converting that actual information into some another format also before sending to that server, so that even though the hacker people might be hacking that information, they can't misutilize that, because the actual content has been converted into different format over here. They can't decode that information here, because if they want to decode, they need that key, but we are the only person who knows that key. Other people don't know that key. Without that key, they can't decode that. For that reason, we can able to use that encoding util class, or else you can use that crypto class, both. Okay, clear? No. So this is the way we can able to use that count method inside this. Okay, now let me show you that practically how can we use that count method. Public static void records count. Okay, records count. I want to get the count of those records. So I'm using that static SO cable here. I'm using that integer variable, integer leads count, select count from lead object. I want to know that lead records count is a leads count. Directly we can able to use that count method inside your query in order to get the count of those records. No need to fetch the data from that object by using that SOQL query. No need to store those records by maintaining a separate collection, because which will be occupying some more memory. To save that memory, we are using this count method. Now, this is some static SOQL. If it is a dynamic SOQL, we are using this mechanism. Integer lead records count. I'm storing. Select count from lead. Sorry. String leads query. I want to execute that. Database start. Generally, we are using that count query method here. Instead of using that query method, we can able to use count query method in order to execute that SOQL query. Now I want to display that. Collection size is, I want to indicate. Lead records count. Upon using that count method, we have to use both either static or dynamic SOQL both. If it is a static SOQL query, directly we can use that count method. If it is a dynamic SOQL query, upon executing, we have to use count query method. So now tell me here, how many SOQL queries I have used now, as of now? In this one, in this method, how many SOQL queries we have used? Okay, dynamic one. Totally, it may be static dynamic. Salesforce will count, right? Yes, it's an SOQL query, that's it. It's a static or dynamic. Based on my convenience, I have used either static or dynamic here. Then how many SOQL queries I have used now? Here I want to know that. For that one, system.debug. Number of SOQL queries used. I want to know. For that one, we are having a class called as, inside that system namespace, we have a class called as limits. Limits dot, we can able to get that here. So now get DML rows, and you will be having that option. The various methods are available. How many SOQL queries you have used? Now, how many limit queries we have used? The whole information we can able to fetch this information. Get queries. Okay, get queries. How many number of SOQL queries that you have used? So now system dot limits dot, here inside this you will be having so many ready-made methods are available. So now how many callouts that you have used, and then how much CPU cycle time you have used, what is the database time that you have used, how many records you have retrieved for the DML operations, how many DML statements you have used, how many email invocations we have used, everything we can able to track by using that. The heap size also, how much heap size, how many future calls you have initiated that, and then we can able to fetch that number of SOQL queries you have used, how many records it has been written, everything we can able to get that information. Okay, so the whole operations we can able to use that. How many SOSL queries you have used, everything we can able to fetch that information by using that limits class. Okay, clear? Now, now, so let me execute this method. Now, click on execute. The request has been sent to the server. Select the debug only checkbox. Now it is indicating that lead records count is 630. So totally 630 records are available inside my lead object here. Now this is the first query which we have executed by using that the static SOQL over here. And then as part of dynamic SOQL, we have executed that same. So here also it is returning that same results here. Lead records collection size is 630. And the number of SOQL queries that you have used is 2. Because here one is static SOQL, second one is dynamic SOQL. Okay, so that here 2 SOQL queries we have used as part of this transaction. So it is indicating that number of SOQL queries you have used is 2. Okay, clear? So in this transaction, what are the various limitations that you have used? Where we can see generally these limitations when you go to the debug log file. Okay, when you go to that last of the debug log file, we can able to see all these limitations. These limitations we can able to query through the database by using limits class. Okay, system.limits number of SOQL queries here. Number of query data rows has been written. Number of SOSL queries, number of DML statement, number of DML rows written, CPU cycle time, heap size, number of callouts, email invocation, future methods, everything. That's what here it is giving all these methods to you. So now when you go to that limits dot, it is having all the information. How many number of callouts we have used, and then CPU cycle time, database time, number of records written, number of DML statements you have used, email invocations you have used, SOQL queries, SOSL queries, the whole information we can able to fetch. Okay, all this information we can fetch by using that class called as limits class. Okay, clear? Now, everything we can able to fetch through programmatically also. Understood the concept here? No. Clear up to this one? The next one. Let's see one more concept. SOSL queries. Okay. SOSL queries. So what do you mean by this SOSL? What is the full form of this SOSL? SOSL stands for what? Salesforce Object Search Language. Now, so now tell me, what is the use of this Salesforce Object Search Language? Hmm. Okay. Here also by using where class also we are searching, right? By using where column name equals to so and so. It may be like operator, in operator, equality operator. We are using and we are searching the data. Then what is the need of this SOSL? Different operations in the sense? Different? different objects. Okay. Then can't we go with multiple SOQL queries?
It works like a search engine.
It works like a search engine. Okay.
Just like Google, if we type anything that related to all the articles of any service, it will make complete
Okay, based on indexing, it will be fetching the data. Okay.
just like AI.
Okay. Then any more thing? Any more thing to go with SOSL queries?
That some object will not appear just like task and case. So we can't directly see. So in that case, SOSL is will be
Why SOSL?
because it makes very and it goes
We can go with SOQL query, static, dynamic. We can make some query. We can fetch the data from task also, event also. Even though the object may not be present on the user interface, we can fetch. Okay. Okay. Limitation is 100 SOQL. Then. Okay. Now, for example,
at the same time multiple object information we will take that in SOSL.
right? Okay. Multiple objects we can able to search by using this SOSL. Okay. Now, one more point is, okay. For example, I have an object. I have an object. So this is my account object. I'm having some columns, account ID, name, rating, industry, and the address information. Some columns are available. So this is my account object. I'm having my account object. So this is ID column, name column, rating, industry, and I would like to specify the website or billing street. Billing street. These are the columns are there. And inside my object, I'm having some records. I'm having some records inside this. ID is first record 001 234. The name is some Ready Labs. Rating value some heart. Industry some pharma. Building street like as some Madhapur. Second record 001 345. So here we are having that record as some Ram Kumar. Rating value some WAM. Industry some banking. And then I would like to, we are having that value which is in Srinagar colony. Srinagar colony. Inside that Srinagar colony, we are having that billing street. Okay. Now, third record 001 456. Ramesh. Rating value some heart. And the industry like as some insurance. And then there is some Ramnagar colony. For the record 001 567. His name is Kiran. Rating value some hard. Insurance, in the industry I'm indicating like as some education. And then I'm indicating that billing street as some Ramnagar. He is also from the Ramnagar here. Okay. Now for example, these are some 4 records are there inside my object. Now I would like to search for the content with the name Ram. What we can do? Now tell me. I want to search for the content Ram. What we can do? Related to that name Ram, whatever the records are there, I need to fetch. Okay. So now in this case, I want to fetch only those particular records, okay, whose value will be, whose record content will be having the value Ram. Then what we can do? Now tell me where we have used this keyword. Basically, this keyword has been used in some different places inside my application. Now here we have used that keyword Ram. Then any more place? Now in billing state, here also have used that keyword Ram. Here also we have used that keyword Ram. Here also have used that keyword Ram. Now in this case, now tell me, now when coming to the Ram keyword, I have used in the name column also, and we have used this keyword inside my billing state column also. In these 2 columns, I have used this keyword here. Now I want to fetch. Now tell me how can we fetch generally? Forget about SOSL concept, all these things. Okay. Okay. We need to fetch that information. Where name like Ram percentage. No. Okay. Now. And then second one. Next one. Okay. We need to write one more query, or we need to write in the same query. Same query. Okay. Then and billing street like Ram percentage. Now tell me how many records it will return now. Only 1 record. But in how many places I have used this one? 4 places. But totally 3 records are there. I want 3. If I'm using R condition, then instead of using this and, okay, I'm using that R condition. Okay, fine. Then, for example, now I'm using this R. Then, how many records it will return now? 3 records. For example, assume that this keyword Ram, I have used inside the rating also. Then, will that record will returns? No. Because here we are clearly indicating that whenever I'm going to fetching the data by using that where class, I'm clearly indicating that please search for this particular kind of information inside that name column. Because I know this particular keyword has been used in the name column. That's what I'm indicating that. And along with that, I'm indicating, I know that this particular keyword has been used in the billing state field also. So that I'm indicating, please search in the billing state. For example, if you don't know in which column this keyword has been used, if I don't know in which column this keyword has been used, then what is the situation then? In this case, can we use this SOSL queries? No. At that time, what needs to be done? We need to search for that content in the name column also, in the rating also, industry also, billing state also. If you're having some other columns in those columns also, we need to search manually by rating a separate SOSL queries. But in this kind of situation, what happened? Number of SOSL queries will be keep on increasing. At a certain point of time, definitely we are going to be reaching to that. We are hitting the limit of that governor limit also. Because we can use maximum of 100 SOSL queries per transaction, but inside my table I can have more than 400 fields also, up to 500 custom fields I can have inside my object. But in every column I can't search. Those many number of queries we can't write. We don't have those many number of columns, those many number of queries limitation. Also, we are having the limitation of up to 100 per transaction. In these cases, whenever we are going to be using the select statement or SOQL queries, upon searching for a particular content, we have to indicate the column name also. Okay, we need to verify that in which column we need to search for this content over here. We have to clearly indicate that. Without specifying the column name, we can't search for the content. Okay. So in this case, if you want to search for the same content in the multiple columns, then we have to write multiple SOQL queries always. Okay, we have to write multiple SOQL queries also. So at that time, it will be reaching to the governor limit here, which has been given by Salesforce. For that one, to avoid all these problems, we are going to be using a class called as, we are using a feature called as SOSL queries. SOSL queries. By using this SOSL queries, we can search for a particular content. Okay, we can search for a particular content. Okay, in multiple objects. Okay, in multiple objects. How many? Maximum of in 20 objects we can able to search in one shot. Okay, we can able to search for this particular content in 20 objects maximum in one shot. That too in what columns? In all the columns also. Not only in a specific column, because I don't know in which column this particular keyword has been used. Whether that value RAM may be used in industry column, rating column, name column, type column, billing state column, I don't know where exactly this keyword has been used. And that too, I can't look into each and every column of my table. I can't look into each and every record inside my table. That will be very difficult for me. For that one, I'm using the help of a search engine called as SOSL. SOSL is a search engine which has been given by Salesforce, which will be searching for a particular content in all the fields in up to maximum of 20 objects in one shot. Okay, it will be searching in every field inside your object here. Okay, every field. It will go to that account object. In this go to account object, it will verify whether this keyword RAM has been used in the name column or not. If it has been used, so 2 records are available. So automatically it will be fetching these 2 records to you. It will fetch these 2 records to you over here. Those 2 records will be getting returns to you. Now, then it will go to that rating column. Have we used this column value RAM or not? We have used that one. Here also we have used. So now this record is already written. So that it won't return that record again over here. Next, it will go to that industry column. Have we used that keyword RAM here? No. And then after that, it will go to that billing state column. Whether this keyword has been used? Yes. In how many columns you have, how many records you have used? 2 records here. But this record is already written. So third record. It will be collecting the third record also. The third record also will be getting returns to you. Okay, so whatever the records are available inside your object, okay, whatever the records are available inside your object in which this particular keyword has been used, all those records will be getting returns to you automatically by default. No need to search in each and every column manually. It will be searching in all the columns in one shot here. That facility is available when coming to the SOSL query. Okay, by using SOQL query, we can search the data, but we have to indicate in which column we need to search, or else SOQL query doesn't know in which column it has to search. We have to indicate clearly this keyword we have used in this so-and-so column. So please go to the column and please search for that content, okay, by using that where condition. But in this case here, when coming to the SOSL queries, no need to specify any column name. SOSL query will be searching in all the fields also automatically by default. Okay, so in this case, SOSL queries are used to search for a particular content. Okay, search for a particular content in multiple objects in Salesforce by referencing all the fields. Okay, all the fields inside your object. Not only inside this name column, it will be verifying for this content in the name column, rating column, industry column, billing state column. In all the columns, it will verify one by one, one by one. If any of the record has been used this keyword RAM, it will return that record automatically by default. For that reason, we are using the help of a search engine called as SOSL. Okay, clear? SOSL is a search engine which is used to search for a particular content, okay, in multiple objects in Salesforce by referencing all the fields in each object. Okay, clear? Now, So now in this case here, whenever if the SOSL has to be get searched for the data, then for this particular object, searching mechanism should be allowed. Okay, searching mechanism should be allowed. If the searching is not enabled, then SOSL query will not search inside that object here. For example, assume that here, come to a scenario. I have my customer object here. Or I have my user object. In this user object also I'm searching for some content here. Okay, I'm searching for the content by using SOSL. But my user object is having some confidential information. Okay, my user object is having some confidential data, sensitive data is there, usernames and passwords are there, which are very, very confidential information. In this case, I don't want to allow the SOSL query to search the data inside my object. I want to prevent the searching mechanism inside my user object here. How can we prevent? I don't want to allow the SOSL query to search for the content inside my user object because user object is having some confidential data, some sensitive data is available. So I don't want to allow to search. Then what we can do in this case? At that time, whenever we are going to be creating the object, we have discussed about so many sections. Upon creating the object, we are entering that object label, nothing but plural, singular label of that object, plural label also. We are using that optional features section, like as allow reports, allow activities, track field history, allow in charter groups. All these options I'm specifying. Along with that, we are specifying that deployment status option also. We are specifying that object creation sections, like as add the notes and attachments, launch a new custom tab wizard. All these options I'm specifying. So now here or there we will be having a section called as search status section. Okay, there is a section called as search status section. We have the search status section. In this search status section, we have a checkbox is available here. Allow search. Okay, there is a checkbox is available that is called as allow search. Okay, allow such a checkbox is available. If this checkbox has been selected, okay, if this checkbox has been selected, then only Salesforce will allow you to set this particular data inside my object with the help of SOSL. If this checkbox is not selected, then SOSL query will not be able to search the data inside your user object. That means my object is preventing to search the data inside my object because it is having some confidential information. It is having some sensitive data, some important data is available, so which I don't want to reveal to the other people, which I don't want to disclose to the other people, so that SOSL query can't search the data inside my user object. At that time, to prevent the searching mechanism inside the user object, we have to unselect the checkbox, allow search. Then where it is available, let me show you practically. Let's go to your objects over here, whatever the objects that we have. Take any of the object settings. Now, here we are having a checkbox. Allow search. There is a checkbox is available. By default, this checkbox has been enabled. When you go to the edit button of your custom object, here we have a section called as search status section. Below the deployment status section, we have search status. If you want to allow the SOSL query to search the data inside your object, the hiring manager then select that checkbox, allow search. If you don't want to allow to search mechanism, unselect that checkbox over here. Then from there onwards, SOSL query will not be able to search for the content inside my hiring manager object here. It cannot be able to search. So that to prevent that SOSL query to search the data inside an object, we have to disable that search mechanism here by using that and by inserting the checkbox allow search. Okay, clear? Now, so now in this case, when coming to the SOSL query, SOSL queries are used to search for a particular content in all the fields inside the multiple objects in one shot. Okay, we can able to search for a particular content in all the fields in the multiple objects. Up to how many objects we can search at a time? 20 objects. This is the limitation given by Salesforce. Okay, by using the SOSL query, we can able to search for the content in maximum of 20 objects in one shot. Okay, now make a note of this one. SOSL queries. Apex provides a search engine called as SOSL queries, which are used to search for a particular content, which are used to search for a particular content in all the fields in the multiple objects at a time. In all the fields in the multiple objects at a time. In all the fields in the multiple objects at a time. If any of the record, if any of the record is having the search keyword in any of the column in the record, then SOSL query will return the record automatically. That means in any of the record, if this keyword has been found in any of the column, whatever, not only in the name column, not only in the rating column, not only in the industry column, in any of the column of your record, if this keyword has been used, then Salesforce will be returning that record automatically to you. Okay, clear? Now make a note here. To set the records inside the object by using SOSL query, we need to enable the allow search checkbox. Upon creating or editing the object settings. To search the records inside the object by using SOSL query, we need to enable the allow search checkbox upon creating or editing the object settings, which is in search status section. Okay, now SOSL query will be preparing by using that what statement. What is that keyword we have used to prepare the SOSL query? Not where. Select statement. Okay, now we are selecting some records from the object. Now this SOSL query will be prepared with the help of a keyword called as find. Okay, we have to use that find keyword in order to search for the data in the multiple objects in one chart. Okay, now make a note. SOSL queries should be implemented with the help of find keyword. SOSL query should be implemented with the help of find keyword. More than 20 objects, Salesforce won't allow. We have to write 2 SOSL queries. To search for the first 20 objects, 1 SOSL query. To search in the remaining 20 objects, 1 more SOSL query. Okay, clear? Now let's see the syntax. we have to use that keyword find. Specify the search text and a star in all fields. Okay, in all fields. In what objects you want me to search? I want to search the data inside my account object. I want to search the data inside my contact object. I want to search for the data inside my opportunity object. I want to search inside my lead object. I want to search inside my order object also. These are the objects. For example, I want to search in my position object also. I want to search in my candidate object also. We can specify here. Find search text star. That means I would like to search for that particular search text any place in that keyword. It may be any place in that particular the column. It may be starting, it may be middle, it may be last, wherever it may be finding this particular keyword. Please search for this particular keyword in all the fields inside my objects. In what objects you want me to search? I want to search in that account object, contact object, opportunity, lead, okay, order, position, candidate, like that, up to maximum of 20 objects we can able to search. Now, for example, now if this particular keyword has been found in this any one of the account record, then I want to return that record. In that account record, what we have in my account object, we are having so many columns are there. ID column, name column, rating, industry, annual revenue, like that. So many columns are there. You want me to return this complete record with all the columns? No, I don't want that all the columns information. I want some specific columns information. Of course, search in that all the fields, but if any of that particular record is using this keyword, return that record to me. But upon returning that record, don't return the complete columns of that record, because table may be having hundreds of columns. I don't want those hundreds of columns data. Upon getting the data, I want only few columns. What are those few columns? We can able to specify those columns over here, like as column 1, column 2, column 3, like that. Whatever the columns information you want, you can able to specify here, comma, like the similar way here. If this keyword has been found in any of the contact record, return that contact record with these columns. If this keyword has been found in any of the opportunity record, return that record with these columns. If the keyword has been found in any of the lead record, return that lead record with these columns here, like the similar way. Okay, we can able to search. Now that means what? We have to indicate find search a text in all fields. Please search for this particular content in all the fields of in this object here. If any one of that field has been, any of one of the record has been, okay, utilizing this keyword, return that record here with these columns. For that one, we have to use a keyword called as returning. Okay. Say find search text in all fields returning. That means return. What you are returning? Those records. With what columns? These are the columns information. Okay, these are the columns information I would like to return. It will be default here. Such status is enabled automatically.
Sir, if you are not mentioning any column name, then it will directly take all the columns of that.
It will be searching in all the columns here, in all fields. It will search in all the columns. But upon returning that record, it will be returning only those columns information, whatever you have mentioned here.
If you are not mentioning column name, then account only, I am mentioning account.
Account in the sense? Simply if you are writing that account, it won't allow. Compulsorily you have to mention some column names. Okay. Clear? Understood the concept here? Now, I would like to search for this particular content, okay, in all the fields of these particular objects here. These are the objects in which I would like to search. This is the order we need to search for the content. If this particular keyword has been used in any of the record, okay, then automatically that record will be getting written with these columns here. For that one, return this particular columns information, we are using the keyword returning. Okay, clear? Clear about the syntax here? Now, here what objects information you would like to use, that we can decide, that depends upon your requirement. Okay. Now let's come to that governor limits. The first limitation, I think you are aware of a limitation. What is that? 20 objects, right? So here we can able to, by using a single SOSL query, we can search for that maximum of 20 objects in one shot. Here I'm using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 objects I mentioned. Like that, up to maximum of 20 objects we can specify. By using a single SOSL query, we can search for the content in maximum of 20 objects. Okay, now make a note here. By using SOSL query, we can search for the content in maximum of 20 objects at a time. 20 objects at a time. Then how many SOSL queries that we can use per transaction? SOQL will be 100. SOSL 20 maximum. Okay. So now Salesforce will allow us to use maximum of 20 SOSL queries per transaction, not more than that. Okay. Now, we can have maximum of 20 SOSL queries per transaction. We can have maximum of 20 SOSL queries per transaction. Then each SOSL query returns how many records over here? Each SOSL query can return how many records? Each SOSL query can return maximum of 2000 records, not more than that. That is the limitation. Okay. SOSL query can return maximum of 2000 records. SOQL 50,000. Okay. Now, each SOSL query can returns maximum of 2000 records. Each SOSL query can returns maximum of 2000 records. Okay. So these are few governor limits are available, okay, as part of the SOSL query. Okay. So we can use maximum of 20 SOSL queries per transaction. Each SOSL query can returns maximum of 2000 records. And by using a single SOSL query, we can search for the content in maximum of 20 objects at a time, not more than that. That is a limitation. Okay. Clear? Now, so in this case, whenever we are going to preparing that, okay, executing that SOSL query, here we have two ways are available. Okay. Ways to invoke the SOSL queries. How many ways are there to invoke that SOSL query? Now tell me how many ways are there? We have two ways are available. First one, query editor, okay. Second one, developer console. That means Apex programming here. Okay. Now, Salesforce provides the below two ways to invoke the SOSL queries. First one is by using query editor from the developer console. Second one by using Apex programming. Second one by using Apex programming. These are the two ways are available in order to invoke your SOSL queries. Okay. Where? Oh, sorry. Okay. Now, so now we can invoke that SOSL queries in two ways. One is by using that the query editor from the developer console. Second one is by using Apex programming language. Done? Now. So in this case, how to prepare this SOSL query? By using the developer console, okay, by using that query editor, how can we execute? Now let's see. Now, for example, here, I want to search for the content some test. Okay, I want to search for the content by using test. Okay, now, in this case, how can we prepare here? Now, let me show you practically. Write an SOSL query to search for the keyword test in account, contact, lead, case, position, and candidate objects. In this case, how can we prepare this SOSL query here? Now let's see practically. I want to search for this. I want to search for this content test inside my query editor. So now tell me how can we prepare that here? I'm using that find a keyword, find test star in all fields, returning. I want to search in the account object. If this keyword test has been found in any of the account record, please return that record with ID, name, rating, industry, annual revenue, and the active status. Next, if this keyword has been found in any of the contact record, then return that contact record ID, first name, last name, title, phone, fax, email. If this keyword has been used in any of that lead object record, then return that lead record ID, first name, last name, company, title, phone, email, fax, status. If this keyword has been used in any of that case object, then return that case record ID, case number, type, reason, priority, status, origin, subject. If this keyword has been used in any of that position object, I want to return that position record ID, name, position status, and then location, and then HR email ID. If this keyword has been used in any one of that candidate object here, then I need to return that candidate record ID, name, location. I want to search in notice period, and then expected CTC. These are the columns I would like to search. In this case, this particular keyword test star we need to specify inside that flower braces if you are executing by using that query editor. In the remaining cases, we have to use like as normal, okay, single quote. If you're executing through Apex programming, we have to specify in that single quote. If you are executing this particular query by using the query editor, then we have to specify inside that the flower braces. And tomorrow you don't have the session, and session will be on Sunday. Okay, Sunday we have the 3-hour session, 10:30 to 1:30. Okay, then we'll continue with that the SOSL queries, and then we'll be discussing about the DML statements concept also. What is that pending in that one? That we'll see next one. And that too, we are having that inbound email is also, that will be as part of integration. Okay, how to receive the email notification from the third party email IDs, and based on that email notification, how to perform the email operation, that is part of integration. Okay, email integration. That we'll see next one. Okay, that's not it over, right? We are having some more features during that concept. We'll see. We have some most important features also: triggers, batch programming, visual force. All these things are there. Okay, course is not yet completed. We have 1 more month time to complete this. Done. Now let's see how can we execute this one. Don't close the books. So now let me execute this query by using my query editor. So let's go to the query editor and execute this SOSL query. That's what I have indicated to you. Upon executing the query by using query editor, we can specify either SOSL or SOSL queries. Both we can able to execute. So now I'm specifying that SOSL query over here. I am going to searching for the content test star in all the fields inside my objects: account object, contact, lead, case, position, candidate. In all these objects, I'm searching for the content. So now from these objects, if any of the objects are utilizing this particular keyword, that records will be getting returns to you. Click on execute. Now it is indicating a compilation error, that is called as location column is not there inside my position object. Location name. Now, what are the columns are available? We're having the column name as location name. Okay, in my candidate object, what is that column name? Here also location name. Right. Okay. Now click on execute. We can able to see the results also over here. Results will be getting visible to you. It is giving the 3 tabs. That means now this keyword test has been found in account object in 14 records. These are the 14 records are available. Test keyword has been used. Here we have used in this place. Here we have used in this place. Here the last. Here also the last. Here last. Here starting. Wherever this keyword has been used, it will be returning all those records. Like the similar inside my contact object in 10 records, we have used this keyword here. We have used this keyword in 10 records. Now here we have used in this place. And then in this one, we have used in this email ID place over here. In this record, we have used in this place. In this record, we have used in this place, email ID place. In this record, in the last name. In this one, first name. We collect that it is searching in all the columns inside your object here. Like the similar way it is searching in the lead object also. In that lead object, in 103 records, we have used this keyword test. So which it will be returning all those records to me here. But we haven't used this keyword inside my case object, and we haven't used this keyword inside my position object in candidate object here. Let me create some records also inside my position and the candidate. Let's go to the position. I'm going to be opening that position record over here. I'm changing this one. Instead of Salesforce administrator, I'm using Salesforce tester. Now let's save this one. Go to the candidate. So instead of some Sharat Kumar, I'm indicating like some test Kumar. Okay, I'm entering the value like this here. Now, the validation is there. Now, I'm saving this record now. So we are having these records are also available. Here in this case, I'm indicating like as the name Abhishek test@gmail.com. Okay, I'm having these records here. One candidate record is there, one position record is there. Now let me execute this query. Remove this log file generated by Salesforce. Now let's execute your query. Click on execute. So now here we are able to fetch the data. 14 account records, 10 contacts, 103 lead records, 1 position record, 1 candidate record. These are the various records where exactly this keyword has been used. So that here we can able to search for the content in multiple objects also. Okay, using that the find keyword with the help of SOSL queries. Suppose for example, if I'm using this keyword like some bulk, click on execute. Now this keyword has been used in only in the 2 objects, contact and the lead. In contact 5 records, in the lead 250 records here. Now in this case, you can raise a question. Suppose for example, sir, if this particular lead records, if it is returning that 250, I don't want 250, I want only 50. At that time, inside that lead object, we can able to give the limit also. Limit 50. We can use that limit class also. Click on execute. It will return only that 50 records to you. Now it is returning only that 50 records. Even though we are having 250 matching records are available, to return only 50 records to you. Like that, we can able to give the limit classes also inside this. Okay. Not all the classes, only few classes will be getting applicable over here. We'll see what few classes are applicable over here. We'll see those concepts also. Okay. Clear? How to search for the data by using SOSL? Okay. So now we can able to prepare your own SOSL queries, and we can able to search for the required information, okay, from that query editor also. And then how to execute this SOSL query by using Apex programming, we'll see. Here also, Apex programming has dividing this SOSL queries into 2 types. Static SOSL, dynamic SOSL. Okay, both are 2 different mechanisms are available. How to prepare static SOSL, how to prepare dynamic SOSL, we'll see practically, and then we'll see the concept of DML statements also on Sunday. Sunday we have the session at 10:30 again, 10:30 to 1:30. Okay, now. And then next Sunday also we are having that session. Okay, Saturday and Sunday both. Okay, 11th and 12th.